A very good day to all of you. Thank you for joining the class today. In this module, we will learn some reading skills and, to be specific, skimming. So in reading, to improve our reading skills, to be able to read quickly and understand more instead of reading 2 or 3 times, but still you couldn't understand a text, a passage, there are some things that we need to pay attention to. Two things that are quite important in enhancing our reading skills are skimming and scanning. And in this module, we will be looking into the details of skimming. So, what is skimming? Skimming involves running your eye very quickly over large chunks of text. It is different from previewing because skimming involves the paragraph text. Skimming allows you to pick up some of the main ideas without paying attention to the details, and it is a fast process. It is very quick. A single chapter should only take a few minutes. So when we talk about skimming, as the word suggests, skimming, it happens or should happen very fast. It should happen quick because the main purpose of skimming is just to know the idea of the passage or the article or a text or pages from the book. So that is skimming. So when we are reading an article, when we are reading a passage from a reading test, for example, what we need to first do is to skim the text. So we have a reading text. In a reading test, we have a reading passage, reading text, and then we have questions that needed to be answered based on the text given. So to be able to do the reading test effectively, one thing that we can do is to skim the passage first so that we get the idea of the passage. So this would save our time. If we know how to skim properly, we can get the idea of the passage well, and we will be able to answer the questions perhaps better because we know what the text is all about in the first place. So it is important to be able to skim properly. So we have some steps in reading. We don't just go and open the test booklet and read and answer the questions, but if we follow the steps, the proper steps, we would be able to do the test better. Of course, we are talking about reading tests. So that is skimming. That is the idea of skimming. You read quickly whatever in the passage and try to get the main idea, the gist, the main information of the passage, what it is about. So when you look at the questions, you know what to relate between the questions and the passage. We'll look at a few examples later in the coming slides, but before that, when to use it. So when do we skim? To quickly locate relevant sections from a large quantity of written material, and especially useful when there are few headings or graphic elements to gain an overview of a text. Skimming adds further information to an overview. So one thing that we can do while skimming is to read the thesis statement or the first sentence in the thesis statement, the last sentence in an introduction paragraph, because a thesis statement tells what the whole passage is all about. So if you read the thesis statement of in the first of the introduction paragraph, we can get the idea of the whole passage, the whole text. The other thing that we can do is to read the topic sentence in the passage. So where can we find the topic sentence? The topic sentence normally would be the first sentence in each paragraph in the passage. So the topic sentence, a good topic sentence will give the idea of what that particular paragraph is all about. So if you are reading a good passage, by reading the thesis statement and the topic sentence, we should know what the article, the passage is all about. So that is one way of skimming, by reading the thesis statement, the last sentence in a, could be the last sentence, could be the second last sentence, when the author says, therefore, this article is written about something, or however, there are some problems that need to be solved, which are this and that. So that would be the thesis statement. Second last or the last line in the first paragraph. And then the topic sentence should be the first line, the first sentence in each paragraph in the body paragraph. How to skim. Note any bold print and graphics. So some reading passage, they have graphics, they have charts, they have graph. So those things would help your understanding of the passage by going through the graph, the graphics, the bar charts, for example. You can get the idea of what the article is all about, because whenever the article has a graph, a bar chart or graphic, that means those are the main thing about the article, the main idea of the article, that is presented in form of graphics. Start at the beginning of the reading and glide your eyes over the text very quickly. So skimming, one thing about skimming is it is very quick. If we are talking about a two-page article, for example, it should be done in 1 or 2 minutes. So it cannot be 5 minutes. 5 minutes is reading. 1 or 2 minutes would be skimming. So skimming is just to get the main idea of the passage, and it is very quick. So you don't actually read the text in total. You don't read everything. You don't read every single word in the text, because skimming, you just want to get the main idea of the passage. You may read a few words of every paragraph, perhaps the first and the last sentences. So first would be topic sentence and last would be the concluding sentence. Always familiarize yourself with the reading material by gaining an overview or skimming before reading in detail. So make sure you familiarize yourself with the reading text. Don't just go and read everything, every single word. Try to get the main idea of what the article is all about, and then you go through the questions in the reading comprehension, get to know what the questions want, and then go back to the reading article and you scan in detail. So skim, get the idea and go through the questions, understand what the questions want, and then you find the answers again by reading in detail. So that is the steps that we can follow in doing a reading comprehension task or reading test. Here is an example of an article. So if you take a look at this article, so just a chunk of a long article, 3 paragraphs here. So let us take a look at the thesis statement first in this in the first paragraph. So the suffering of 1 million displaced homeless refugees. So this article is talking about refugees, and the Afghan refugee shyly pulled her shawl over her hair and stared in the camera lens. and the rest of the world that looked into her eyes got a glimpse of the tragic world of a refugee. So this article is about a famous picture of the Afghan girl, a refugee many years ago, who got the attention of the world because of her beautiful eyes. So that is the thesis statement of this article. This article is going to talk about this Afghan refugee and the beauty of her eyes and the tragic history behind her history. And this is the first sentence in the body paragraph should be the topic sentence. In 1985, her face was on the June cover of the National Geographic magazine, and then the rest of the paragraph would talk about the picture or the girl. And then the next paragraph, the story began when journalist Steve McCurry was wandering through the Nasirbah refugee camp on the Pakistan-Afghanistan border. And so the rest of the paragraph would talk about this journalist's journey in finding the girl and about the girl itself. So when we want to understand the text quickly, what we do is just we go through quickly, read a few words in each paragraph, and get the main idea of what it is about. And the other thing we can do is to focus on the bolded words like this: reproduce, emblem, mesmerize, indomitable. Those words could give you more ideas on what the paragraph or the sentence, the whole text is about. So thesis statement and topic sentence, those are the focus things that you should look into when you are skimming. So remember, skimming is for you to get the brief idea of the passage, not to understand everything. It should be done in 1 or 2 minutes, not longer than that. So that is skimming. I hope with the information that we discussed today, you should be able to understand what skimming is, and you should be able to apply skimming while reading. It doesn't matter reading a newspaper article or magazine or blogs or websites. If you want to do it quickly, you skim. What more if you are doing a reading test where you have time limit? So skimming would be very useful. Thank you very much. See you in the next module. We'll talk about scanning. Thank you.